How's it going, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video and happy Friday. I appreciate you all for tuning in as we're about to break down Nvidia stock, which to me, I know it's up a lot. I know this might sound crazy, but to me it looks like we're about to go up even more. I want to break down the charts, my thoughts, what I'm looking to do. So hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe if you guys find value. Check out the email stock newsletter. It's free. And the Patreon if you guys want to keep up with what I'm doing in my portfolio. All the links are down below. And now let's just dive into it, guys. Enough of that. Cheers. Let's go. So Nvidia right now, when I'm making this video, is up around 0.5%. And we're right there. We're right on the verge of breaking out. And the more I pull the layers back, the more you see it. You can see, okay, on this 5-day, 5-minute chart, Nvidia is making higher lows this entire week. You're going to notice that. Over the last couple of days, we hit, okay, 165. Higher low here at about 168. Yesterday, we held what at open? 171. Today, this morning, we opened up at 173, then we popped. We're up ever since. We're up around 0.5% on the day, guys. So we're making these higher lows into this overall resistance, which if I pull this up on the 30-minute chart, you guys can see it, right? Higher lows into the 173 to 174, 5-ish resistance, which I think this is going to play out. I think this ascending triangle is going to play out. We're going to see more upside, and I don't know. Is this going to be the breakout that gets Nvidia towards 200 or at least towards 185? It might be. We called the recent breakout. You guys probably remember when we were under 155. We called that breakout to a T. Ran up $20 a share. Is this the next one right here? I think it's going to come down to the big tech earnings. So we got news from Google that they're increasing their CapEx, right, from 75 to 85 billion. You guys heard that. What are these other hyperscalers going to report? What's Meta looking like? What's Microsoft, Oracle, these other big names? You know what I mean? Amazon. What's their CapEx looking like for the year? Are they going to be spending more money? We'll see. Because Google Cloud is growing like crazy. They're spending more money, CapEx increasing. Will we see the same with Microsoft, Amazon, right? Oracle? That's the big question. And if the answer is yes, we might be going up even more in the short term. That's kind of what Nvidia, well, one of the things that it's waiting for at this point and what's driving the stock. You know, ever since Google's earnings, man, we're up a good chunk. We're back to all-time highs. And if I'm telling you, man, if Meta, you know, all those other names, hyperscalers, if they're spending more money, they're forecasting for more spend, the stock's probably going to go higher. AMD's probably going to move more as well, which this is up 2.5% today. And guys, I'm super close to locking in some gains on AMD. I'm not going to lie. AMD is a stock that I've held. I'm trying to think now. AMD I bought. I mean, you guys know my the saga with AMD, right? I bought way too early. Let's keep it real. I started buying at like 140, 150-ish, and I bought all the way down. I bought at 120, 100, you name it. Under 100. Back in April, I was buying in the 70s, 80s. I got my average cost down to $115 a share, roughly, or 110, something like that right now. And it's up in a direct line, essentially, in the last couple of months. So at this point, I'm up. I checked my portfolio earlier. I'm up like 50%, 40, 50%. And I'm like, I might lock in some gains here because this chart is screaming pullback, in my opinion. We might run a little more. We could go to 170, 75 on AMD. But look, we have earnings coming up in about 2 weeks on the 5th of August. We might run a little bit more into that, but I just think, okay, I think a sizable pullback could be on the horizon just based on these charts. But I'm going to keep some of my AMD. I'm not going to sell the entire position. I'm only going to trim if I even do that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that yet, but I might. I might lock in some profits before these earnings. And we'll see where it goes from there. I'm going to let it ride because, quite frankly, guys, I own Nvidia which I don't want to make this an AMD video, but I own both of them. I own Nvidia and AMD, and both of those are up massively for me now. They've grown to be beasts in my portfolio to the point where I don't want overexposure to Nvidia and AMD. You know what I mean? And honestly, I don't really want to trim Nvidia too much right here, so I'd much rather trim AMD. Is kind of where I'm looking, what I'm looking at here to decrease exposure in my portfolio. Because, yeah, I mean, it's good to have AI names in your portfolio, but you don't want to go crazy, at least in my opinion, especially if you own ETFs that already have these stocks in there. You don't want to go crazy on the large cap AI tilt in your portfolio. You got to be a little careful there. But yeah, I think for me, guys, Nvidia, I'm going to let it ride a little more. I might trim if it gets close to $200. I'll be honest. I might trim. Even if it gets to 185, I might trim a little Nvidia. But I'm super hesitant because I do love them for the super long term. But again, no one ever went broke trimming, locking in profits. And AMD, I like them for the long term too, but not as much as Nvidia. So I'm way more open to trimming a little bit of AMD in the short term here. But we'll see. Of course, I'll post all my updates on Patreon. Shameless plug linked down below, guys. We'll talk about that on there. And I'm curious. AMD's earnings are coming up. I'm not even curious. I'm excited to see how these earnings end up playing out. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Kind of all over the place on this update. I mean, not all over the place, but kind of some thoughts going through my head, guys. And on a side note, let's go over some stocks moving today. Tesla is up 5.5%. Looks like the stock's rebounding, although it's not breaking out by any means. Looks like we're just seeing a short-term rebound in the stock. We can see the wedge is still intact. Higher lows are being made even after earnings, guys. It put in a higher low right here. You can see it. Now we're pushing to the top of the wedge. So I'm still eyeing it up for a potential breakout. We're not getting it yet, but we're back over 320 on Tesla. If this is able to break 330, 40-ish, we might start to see momentum, but we're not there yet. I just put my alert at 330. We'll see what happens at that point. What else is moving, guys? ARM Holdings up a good 2.5%. Little cup and handle formation into earnings on ARM Holdings. Keep your eyes on that. Las Vegas Sands keeps on trucking along. Looks like it's filling the gap towards the mid-50s, which it might see some resistance at that point, considering Las Vegas Sands hit that back in the middle of December. Yeah, a couple months ago. Let's see what else is moving here, guys. Duolingo, I mentioned them yesterday. I'm eyeing them up into earnings. Excuse me, guys. Let's see what else is moving here. CrowdStrike is up a little bit, which you guys probably remember. I trimmed, or actually no, I sold out in my one portfolio. I still own it in my other, but I trimmed in the other one, sold out completely in the other one. Sorry, not trying to confuse you guys, but I actually sold a good amount of CrowdStrike, and it ended up being pretty decent timing. I think it was at like 505. Now we're down to 467, but it's actually looking decent on this chart in terms of this pullback. If I extend this to the right, we're actually maintaining support at an old resistance at 455. We're actually holding that right now above 455, 460. So let's see if CrowdStrike maybe, just maybe, gets a short-term rebound there. It might happen. We'll see. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to keep you here too long. Hope you all have a great weekend. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe, join the email stock newsletter. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.